Now, no, now. All right.
All right.
It is 7 p.m. on a Thursday. It is February now. Wow. Yeah, it's already month number 2, but it's CarrGuy and SixFan Show Season 5. And so I'm Grant Tommy, straight SixFan, which means I'm SixFan of this composite score. So the guy over this direction.
And I'm Jason Carr, and I am the car guy of tonight's show. And thank you guys for stopping in. We're excited to have our guest, Mike from Weird Beard Auto Sales with us. Mike, go ahead and say hi.
Hey, how's everybody going?
So before we get going too far, we want to jump into the chat and acknowledge all those who have been waiting. Like, we've got 36 people in the chat already tonight, and we just barely clicked the live button. So we're going to try and run through these names real quick. And if I miss you, I'm sorry. So that's a Canadian thing. So we got the Auto Auction Rebuilds, AJP Garden Machines. We've got Craig Durbin, who also gave a real early $20 super chat. We'll talk about the super chats here in a minute. We've got Weird Beard, obviously, has joined the chat in there at one point in time. Roy Marco's Garage, Rob Z, Coastal Auto Reaction. We've also got Love My Chev Redline, I guess is how we're going to say that tonight. Binder Off-Road and Left for Dead Garage. Keep scrolling down through here. We'll get everybody.
Will's Wheels, Sobering Auto Restorations, Montana Garage, Mortski Repair, King Eric, the greatest of all, Christopher Bolton. Yeah, the list goes on and on. Prepping Life, anyone Will's Wheels, anyone I've missed, Jason?
Oh, as you scroll down, they're all coming in there. Christopher Bolton, Novotaz. We've got Greasy Boy, Customs. Dan's in the house. Me, myself, and Darlene, which is Mike's daughter. We've got Jeffrey Allen, Brandon Wakehoff, Mark, and yeah, Tom Mortski's in there. So guys, welcome to the show. Let's get into it.
Yeah, well, as Jason mentioned, in the off season between season 4 and 5, we got to thinking you guys are nice enough to every now and then give us super chats. And that's just one of the, and we'll get into that. I think probably this will lead in good to our first question to you, Mike, but you feel kind of guilty just getting free will money from people. And so when Jason and I thought about it, that's why we decided to have a prize pack for at the end of the year. And so, as you know, Jason behind him has Forever Sharp steering wheels as kind of his, we'll call it partner. And every $1 spent in super chat gets you eligible to win not one of these boxes, 2 of these boxes, which is a 36 square foot, 80 mil sound deadening from Kilmat. They stepped up and they're the partner for every time I host. Every $1 you give us in a super chat gives you 1 entry into winning this at the end of the season. And also included is Noico, which is sort of a sister company of theirs. They also do sound deadening as well, but one of the installation rollers. And this is a really nice product. Super heavy weighted wheel. I'm a cheapskate, so when I did it on the Fairmont, I used like a old caster I had laying around. So anyway, really nice prize pack. Again, every $1 you spend in super chat makes you eligible for 1 entry into winning this prize at the end of the year. But
sweet,
Mike, that was a lot of rambling on. Like I said, you feel guilty just people saying, "Hey, here's $20." You're like, "Wait, what did I do?" Like, I mean, yeah, I'm making content. I get it. You like my stuff, but it's not that good, is it? And I know you struggled with for a while the concept of setting up a Patreon account. But I know you were. I look at Patreon like a thing that it's still uncomfortable for me. I don't feel like it's the right time for me to do it. But I know once I do it, I'll probably say, "Why didn't I do this sooner?" So take us through what that ride's been like for you as a creator with Patreon.
As far as Patreon goes, yeah, you're right. I struggled with that a long time, and to be honest, I don't really like it. I don't really like doing that. I don't know if you noticed, but I mean, in my past couple videos, I didn't even mention Patreon anymore. I didn't even put the link in the description. It's just, I don't know. I got, several people on there. I think I got up to like 40 Patreons that were giving money, and it's just like, man, I've kind of been stressing more that, if you just watch a commercial or two that's really all I need from anybody. I mean, a little interaction, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever, comment, share it with your buddy, even if they don't watch it, just share it with somebody, I mean, just those little things that you can do that will take a channel, to the next level. I don't really need them to send me money. So I'm kind of straying away from it, to be honest. I'm not even really even promoting the Patreon at this point. And, I don't know. For me, I feel bad about it because I'm not giving them anything extra. And I know when it comes to Patreon, you're supposed to do a lot of special side stuff and things like that. And I just don't have time for it. So for me, I kind of feel bad doing the Patreon. So I've kind of pulled back from it a little bit. But I do believe it is a great way for a channel to grow. And it's kind of like you're an artist. This is your art. And I mean, even famous artists from way back when, Patreon is part of their spiel, is that it was okay for people, it was common for people to help out artists with brushes and canvases and things so they could make their art because people wanted to see that art. So there's nothing wrong with it at all. I kind of feel like if you just watch the videos, you just watch a commercial or two, interact a little bit, that's really all I need from anybody. And that's, I mean, what more do you need? I mean, I don't really need anybody to send me $5, to be honest. I don't know.
So, Mike, you've been doing YouTube for a little while now, and one of the questions that we like to ask our guests is what was the actual catalyst that said it's time for me to pick up a camera and start showing off to people or presenting to people or entertaining people what it is I have to offer?
It was my wife. She pushed me into this kicking and screaming. I wanted no part of it. He said, do it, try it. Come on, man. I was like, all right. I did it really just to prove her wrong. Like I expected it not to go anywhere. And I was just going to be like, look, I told you, I tried. I told you it didn't work. But it ended up taking off. And I know it's because, I had some help along the way from larger channels. I know Randy over Auto Auction Rebuilds has helped me out a lot. In fact, I mean, he got me started with all of it. He gave me a camera. He fixed my laptop wasn't even working. He fixed my laptop. He showed me how to edit right there in his living room, 2 o'clock in the morning after all of our work was done, and we get in that living room. He showed me how to edit, and at the beginning, I mean, he was editing my videos for me while teaching me how to do it. And so, things like that is what got me into it, and it kind of just grew from there.
And it's also good to see Randy in the chat helping to support you.
Yeah, he's very
well.
supportive. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to piggyback on that. Like two things. One, we just hit 71 people watching, which I believe is a new all-time record.
Oh, sweet.
I know Auto Auction Rebuilds is responsible for boosting this message, so we thank you. But then I'll go a step further. Thank you so much for $50 in a super chat. That's 50 entries.
That's Randy for you right there.
That's extremely generous. That's amazing. So, Mike,
that's like $100 Canadian.
And like 7,000 pesos. But I shouldn't have gone there. Mike, so Jason and I's content, we have this weird niche, almost sub niche within the automotive niche of a phrase I've coined called odd bodies or offbeat hot rodding, just kind of taking something just a little bit off of center from what you're used to seeing at a car show and really investing into it. And so, I mean, that's kind of your most recent build is that 59 Coronet.
Right.
So walk us through a little bit. How did you stumble upon it, and like how did you come to that conclusion? Like, yep, I need to be fixing this one.
It's one of those things, man. You just start down a rabbit hole, and just before you know it, you're all in. And that's kind of how it started. Anybody watch the videos, I started out just going to fix a couple dents on this thing, and we were going to send it off somewhere else and have them do all the painting because, you look at this thing and it's just miles of trim, and you just think like there's just endless amount of work, but I got to messing with it, and I really just got to looking this car over, and I started to realize like this car is super easy to work on. I mean, unbelievably easy to work on. And somebody took the time to, I guess, keep it out of the weather and try to preserve it over the years. And it's just no broken bolts, none of that normal stuff that you would deal with in a car this age. So it's like, it was a no-brainer. It's like, I got to do something with this thing. And I've had a lot of fun with it. And the timing was perfect because, you know, with everything going on, it's kind of nice to kind of bury your head in the sand just a little bit, you know, go out into the shop, shut the door, and just work on something. And that car was great. You know, I just kind of just dove into it, and I've been with it ever since.
We've got some big spenders there in the chat tonight. We've got Luke over at Coastal Auto Reaction giving away another $69.95 Canadian, which is probably
Sweet.
worth about $50 on the American side. And we're topping at 78 people viewing in the chat. So thank you guys so much for being in the chat and joining us on this Thursday evening with our guest, Mike from Weird Beard Auto Sales. So Mike, right now you're in the same business as I am. You're flipping cars, basically. You're bringing them in and you're turning them over. And that seems to be kind of started to be the focus of what your channel is. And now you do have a few projects, and you are working on a few of your kids' projects here and there. Tell us about, you know, what got you into selling cars. We talked about the YouTube channel. What got you into selling cars?
Well, you know, long story short, you know, I was in the paint and body business for years, and over time, you know, things just kind of started going south a little bit. Insurance companies were kind of coming into the shops and taking over a little bit, and anymore you more work for the insurance company than you do the customer. And I never liked that. I hated it. I never liked that we had to use aftermarket parts all the time and the inferior parts, things like that. I mean, these are brand new cars that we're working on. So after a while, you just kind of get tired of it, and you want to do things for yourself. So I developed an exit strategy, you know, a couple of years prior to leaving that business to just see if I could do something else. And it was a toss-up, either get a dealer's license to try to sell some cars, or I was going to go back into truck driving. I mean, I have a CDL. I could easily go back into that. You know, that's something I did years ago in my younger years. And so it was a toss-up. I had to figure out which one I wanted to do. I've always liked cars. I've always, you know, been in the car business, fixing them mostly. And I've always kind of wanted to fall back on that in the back of my mind, and, you know, getting into kind of car flipping and things like that. I never thought I would get an actual dealer's license and have a little car lot or any of that. I thought I would just flip cars kind of on the side, but we got into it and it grew, and now, you know, we actually have sell cars now. I mean, really cool. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah, it's funny how just one bad experience in something kind of like gets you to be like, you know what, this isn't right. Like, it needs to move on. So that's really interesting how you built like an exit strategy. And I think that's, you know, part of the reason why we all do this side hustle thing with YouTube is, you know, a byproduct of, hey, maybe there's another way I can like do what I really love and make a living at it. So we'll get into some tips and tricks on that side of things here in a second. But I did just want to like, I'm flabbergasted that Auto Auction Rebuild again ponied up and gave $100, 100 entries. That's gonna be really fun for me to cut out. However I do this, it's gonna be really awesome to enter his name 150 times. So yes, but hey, you got to work for it, I guess. Haggard Hot Rods gave $5. Novitaz gave $5 earlier, so don't want to forget about you guys. Every dollar counts. Really appreciate it, and this is the exact reason why Jason and I feel like if you guys are going to be willing to give this, we want to give you a shot at least at walking away with a prize. So, Mike, we talked about tips and tricks, strategies. So, you know, again, if there are people out there hearing your message and saying, you know what, there's something not quite right in my job and I want to move on to the YouTube thing, what's maybe one of the things you wished you would have learned sooner that's really like been kind of a keystone moment for you with your YouTube career?
As far as YouTube goes, yeah, man, I've learned this is so far outside of my comfort level. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I really do feel, and this goes for anybody that starts a YouTube channel, you will grow as a person. You will. I mean, just going outside of that comfort zone all the time, you're going to grow, and it's going to kind of, it takes on a life of its own, to be honest with you. But the best advice I could give to somebody, I guess, would just be, just get started. I mean, don't ever sit around and wait till you're ready, because you'll never be ready. I was never ready to do this. I mean, I just had to just get in there and get started. Some other things I might give some advice on, some things that I learned, mistakes I made. Number one, upload as much as possible. I mean, you got to be consistent. YouTube is very, very. I mean, it depends on you being able to put these videos out consistently all the time. So you do have to devote some time to it. Some other things is don't get too carried away with your music. People are really weird about music, and you will not please everybody. No chance. And I try to put some music in there here and there, just to kind of break it. Because man, I feel like my videos are so boring. To me, they're freaking boring. But I try to break it up a little bit. But I've learned that to be honest with you, at least with my audience, you're better off just leave it out and forgive it. And you know, it works because it actually makes it a lot easier to edit things together anyway. I don't know. That's some of the best advice I could give. Just be really neutral if you do try to pick music.
Well, there's one point that I want to make, and that's simply because I've been watching you for a while, and I mean, I'll be the first to admit I don't catch every video of every person that I follow.
It's too hard to. Yeah,
it really is. And as much as I want to support everybody, I have been following the Dodge Coronet videos pretty closely because I'm kind of a Mopar guy myself. But one thing that I've noticed throughout everything that you do is your calm demeanor. I don't think in all of the years, the past year and a half or so that I've been following you, I don't think I've ever seen you get angry or throw tools or get mad or whatever. It just water off a duck's back. And it's that demeanor, in my eyes, it's not just the content, but it's that demeanor that kind of draws me in to watch it, because you're educational, you're well-spoken, you're calm, you're not throwing fake hissy fits to make people watch your videos sometimes. So I appreciate it, and I'm sure that there's a lot of other guys. In fact, last I checked, there's almost 50,000 other guys who are right there, probably feeling the exact same way that I do about your videos. I want to jump in really quick to the Dodge Coronet and just ask you simply, we know that you're going through the paint and body. You're doing an awesome job on that, by the way.
Thank you.
What is the end goal? What does the finish line look like for that car?
Man, I just want it to look like it did when it was brand new. That's it. I mean, on a budget, the best we could do on a strict budget. We're trying to show that the average guy can do this in their garage. It doesn't have to be rotisserie style, all that kind of stuff. If you got an old car and it's looking our age and you want to spruce it up a little bit, you can do this in your shop with basic stuff on a tight budget, and you can just do it panel by panel. I mean, just break it down, man. Don't look at that whole car. That's too much. Look at it panel by panel and just go at it like that, and eventually she'll start to take shape.
Yeah, I resonate with so much of that. I mean, that's what my channel's about, is this idea. Like, I haven't really been deep into working on cars until I turned like 33. I mean, I did a little bit of bolt-on stuff, through my youth, but I was primarily was always so budget conscientious, like to pay off college and all that stuff. And so all of a sudden I was age 33 and I finally was able to justify buying a project car. But a lot of my peers had the skills. They started the same skills at like age 17. So I'm like 16 years behind in skill set almost, So I resonate with a lot of what you say, is that you don't have to buy all this extra. You don't have to have a lift. You don't have to have a rotisserie. You don't have to have all this extra stuff. Go find a platform that, as you talked about your Coronet earlier, it was in such good shape to begin with.
Right. That's important. That's an important key factor, right?
Be picky before you just make the initial purchase, and be picky on condition,
right?
But maybe don't be picky on model, and then it's the perfect entry level platform. So as I'm sure much of the rest of us, we all scour Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Well, Craigslist almost dead now. Kijiji, if you're one of those weird persons up in Canada or whatever you call it. I think I just made a word up there. But what are you finding right now as a market? What's a good platform that seems to be in good shape and at a reasonable price as you window shop like we all do?
I've been talking to my boy about this. He's the one that's got that orange BMW. It's time to switch projects. That car, I'm so over it, and I know he is, and I feel so bad for him because he's so discouraged right now. I feel bad for him. I should have stopped that from ever happening, but his eyes lit up when he saw that bright orange Dukes of Hazzard paint job, and he just had to have it. And I wasn't going to stand in the way of that, so I let it happen. And I probably should have talked him out of it.
Life lessons.
Exactly. And my dad would have been like, "No, don't, no," and he would have probably stopped me from doing it. But I just, whatever. He's going through it. He's learning. That's good. But I've been trying to talk him into doing an OBS, one of those OBS Chevys. I've noticed a lot of them out there right now on Marketplace, and the prices are reasonable, but they need a little work. That's fine, man. I mean, that's what YouTube's for, is content, right? So I'm trying to talk him into getting one of those, and that's what I feel would be a really good project to jump into for someone that is new, that wants to learn, when they want to cut their teeth. That is a great car or truck. Sorry, that is a great truck to start out on. They're simple to work on. Lots of aftermarket support, and you can pick one up for a couple grand or cheaper and probably drive it home.
Yeah, and speaking of the cost of them, and it's not just the cost to buy the actual project vehicle up front. It is in the aftermarket. That stuff is made, like we always go back to, square body Chevys and the old, bull nose, brick nose Fords and stuff like that, they're starting to become a little bit collectible. Now, when I was younger, when I was a teenager, square bodies weren't called square bodies. They were Chevy trucks. So 20 years ago, they were only you could buy them up to 87, so they weren't that old. But nowadays, they're becoming more and more desirable. As our kids become older, they're going to look back and say, okay, well, OBS trucks were maybe the thing to hot rod, or the economical thing to do. There's a lot of people that watch our show that are into this, collecting or rebuilding or bolt on or whatever they're doing. Maybe they've got some YouTube channels themselves. When it comes to looking for that project vehicle, what's the number one thing they should be conscious of, other than budget? Obviously, we're all on a budget to some degree. So what's the number one thing you would tell them to be looking for, regardless of the vehicle, besides budget?
Titles. Get a clear title, man. Don't get into all that BS, Title 42, this and that. If you can find something with a clean title, do that. Save yourself some hassles. And of course, rust is always a factor. I know down here we don't deal with that a lot. We're pretty fortunate with that. But if you can, I know, man, I'm after you. If you can find something, I mean, even if it's going to cost you a little extra up front, you'd be better off to find something that still has the floors in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and before we jump into the next question here, we just want to remind everybody that is in the chat, if you have some questions that you want Mike to answer, go ahead and leave them in the chat now, and we'll start reading some of those questions as we kind of roll through the show.
Yeah, no, I resonate with everything you just said there, Mike, because when I bought the Fairmont, I was digging it out of. I have this checklist, this 10 criteria checklist, which helped me. I walked away from my Fairmont originally, but when I came back home and filled out my own checklist and realized, I told myself I had to score if you score an 8 out of 10, you shouldn't even be questioning to buy it or not. And I came back home and I did it, and I think I either scored an 8 or a 9. I'm like, you idiot, why did you walk away from it? So, history basically ends up telling its own story. I bought the car, but it's I think that's the important thing, is like that's where we talked about be picky, but don't be picky. Like, be picky in what the car has to have. And, it's a Fox body, so the aftermarket part is one of my 10 criteria. I plan on selling this thing as a e-document at some point in time, but I figure I should probably buy a second car and prove that it works. One's a pretty small sample size, so that's kind of what I'm holding on. But yeah, so if you talk about like that same train of thought, what are some lessons learned of, like, you having good horror stories of you got into something that's like, huge mistake. Why did I buy this car?
You guys already know I'm going to talk about that damn Traverse. I hate that thing. It was a dumpster, basically, on wheels. And I went through all that trouble cleaning that thing up, doll it. I made that car look so nice, and all I had to break even on it because it still ran like a turd when I got rid of it. And everyone's, oh, you should have did this, you should have did that. And it's like, well, we all know about that. What is that? That 3.6, that 3600 motor. I think it had some issues. It had some timing chain issues. It just was randomly misfiring all the way across the board. Too much money to fix, and so I let it go as is. Explained to somebody, hey, this is what you're getting yourself into. It's probably going to need a motor, and I just sold it accordingly and got out from under it. Man, that was an endless amount of work on that car just to break even. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. But lesson learned. Don't go bidding on cars all willy nilly. Go check them out first, especially if you're just getting into this business and you're on a budget. You can't afford bad ones. I mean, you got to buy some good cars. Go check them out. Go to the auction the day before. Do your homework. Write the numbers down, the mileage. This one AC don't work. This one needs power steering. Whatever. Make notes so that you know what to bid on those cars when they come through. I don't recommend ever bidding willy-nilly unless you're big time like Jason. I mean, he can do it, but not us little car flippers, man.
No, I don't mind buying a scratch and dent once in a while because we have the ability to fix that stuff up. But there's some things you just can't overcome. You don't buy something with a noisy motor.
Oh no.
You don't buy something generally that won't start. Even if it is, it could simply just be a battery. But from this side of the computer screen, you don't know that.
Exactly.
We're going to jump into the chat real quick and start answering a few questions, if you don't mind. We're going to go to KFC2 Cannon has asked, are you going to do a driving video of the Dodge? Apparently, I think he's probably talking about that when you get it done.
Absolutely. Shoot, yeah. We'll make a whole video cruising it around, and maybe we'll take it to a drive-in movie or something. I don't know.
And then we've got Novatask asking, what is your favorite build to date?
To date, as far as YouTube, everything we've done on YouTube, it's the 59. I'm having a lot of fun with that car. The other rebuilds were fun. The Mustang, the 350Z, that Harley truck, that was a fun rebuild. But, we're really getting into this one, and I am having some fun with it.
And Craig Durbin is asking, when are you coming back for a follow-up? And, well, we'll have to play that by ear. Season 6 is closer than you think, so you never know. You never know who we might have at. Streetcar Culture is also asking, have you ever played around with a rotary engine?
I haven't. I really don't have a lot of experience with those. When I worked at the Ford dealership, we did a lot of Mazdas, and some of those things would come in with those rotary motors. And I was always fascinated by them. They're cool, but I've never really done anything with them mechanically, just bodywork.
And King Eric, the greatest of all, is asking, how did you get the name Weird Beard?
It was just a catchy thing. My whole life, my name has been mispronounced instead of Mike Baird. It's always been Mike Beard. My entire life, ever since I was a little kid, all the teachers, all the kids, Mike Beard. So it was kind of a play off words. It just kind of fit. They say come up with something kind of catchy and gimmicky and marketable, and all. It's proved to be all of that. So people get a kick out of the name. Anywhere I go, whether it be auctions or whatever, the tag offices, anything, they light up when they hear the name Weird Beard. They like it. It puts a smile on people's faces. So hey, why not?
And Brandon Wyckoff is asking, Mike, when are you going to put up a lift and expand your shop space?
As far as expanding shop space, I mean, we're playing it by ear. I mean, who knows? But as far as the lift is coming soon. You guys probably caught on Randy's channel. He got him a new lift now, and I've been holding off on putting that lift in for a while, just to get. I tried to give him every chance to take the lift back, and he wouldn't take it. He just keeps telling me, put it in your shop, put it in your shop. So you know what? He's got a lift. I'm going to go ahead and put it up now.
Yeah, that's I think that's a real game changer. I've only worked off of a lift like twice, but on the on my Tacoma, putting that lift kit on and new unit hubs. Yeah, game changer. So that's on the list of next property I own. That's in there. And the funny thing about lifts is, all right, like, what is it? I mean, I'll say Harbor Freight, but you can buy this lift at many places. It's like that little scissor lift. Like the price point between the scissor lift and the 2-post one is really like, okay, if you've already committed to spending, I don't really remember what it is, but that price differential, it really isn't that big.
Not too bad, no.
It's like spend $1,600 for the scissor lift or $2,000 for the 2-post or something. Like, oh well, yeah, 2-post all day long.
No brainer.
Yeah. Yep. Well, shoot, Mike, it's been fun catching up with you. We had a really good string of questions there from the chat, and thank you, Jason, for just. It was like we were on a different level. You just understood. I was just going to feed you the questions. Thank you for continuing to go on that. But one of the other builds on your channel, Mike, I really appreciate is in the world of body swaps are more and more common. That Datsun pickup you did on the old Nissan hard body was really cool, really fun. So. And I think maybe parts and pieces of that came from Copart. What was your experience like, A, with Copart, but just the build in general, B?
As far as Copart goes, they're great for finding project cars, and maybe if you wanted to find something for yourself, something that you want to fix up, maybe make a few bucks on. You can find some really good deals there. That was a 95 Nissan hardbody, I'm sorry. And I did pick that up out there at the Copart, I believe for around $1,000, something like that. Drove it home, AC worked, everything. It was cool. But yeah, you can find some deals out there at the old Copart yard for sure. Do your homework as usual. Go out there. Don't just bid on them over online. You want to go out there and look at them and verify that they are what they say they are. If it says run and start, you want to make sure it does just that, because sometimes these cars can fall through the cracks, and sometimes people go out there and do mischievous things and the Copart isn't even aware of. I've countless times gone out there to look at running drives, and you get there and you lift the hood and all the coils are gone. It's like, and somebody jacked them. I mean, it wasn't Copart's fault. So go look at them. That's for sure. Don't just be all willy-nilly. Don't go bidding on them online without checking them out first. But Copart, yeah, you can find some deals out there. That was a fun project. And I do plan on getting back on that here real soon. Tying up some loose ends on some other projects, and then we're going to wheel in a new project on both sides of the shop. And my plan is to just kind of bounce back and forth on those projects while we still do the flip car thing as well. And we're just going to kind of try to be as well-rounded a channel as we can. That way you're not just buying and selling cars, or you're not just going to auctions, but you're doing side stuff. You got stuff with the family, the kids, all their builds. It's fun. I'm having fun with it. It's a cool deal, man.
And YouTube seems to be what do you call it? Contagious. You're doing it. You've got 3 kids that are doing it, and they've all got their channels, and they all seem to be growing at a pretty good clip there as well. One of the things that we like to do as part of the show is ask each other and ask our guests, what's coming up? What can we expect in some future episodes of your channel? So, Mike, why don't we start with you?
Okay. Well, obviously, we're going to get that 59 fixed up. Get all the painting done, get it all put back together. Like I said, I'm going to get the old Datsun back in there. I got a new project that's coming in that I'm not spilling the beans on just yet. You got to wait. I think probably some of you could guess what it is, but it's going to be coming in before too long. And as far as the kids go, Kayla, she's still plugging away on that Nissan hardbody, and I think in the future she's probably going to get her another daily driver, and then Arlene's going under the knife like big time. So look forward to that on her channel, and then of course that Beamer, we're going to set it on fire, and then hopefully we're going to get that one going. But either way, she's out of here. Hopefully we're going to fix it and then sell it. Otherwise, we're going to sell it as is and just let the next guy know, hey, you sort it out. But I don't know. He's going to get back on his Chevy Love. He's got that 81 Chevy Love over there. That's a great little project. And he wants to get back on that and introduce another, hopefully an OBS to the channel. We'll see. And then, of course, we got my youngest boy. He's got his Rangers over there. Integrity Woods, man. Got the Danger Rangers going. And so he's going to take those to the next level. Don't forget about the old Ranger, the original one, that old 87 model. He's going to be getting back on that one as well. So that's what we've all got coming up on all of those channels. And we look forward to it. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, it's always good to have the family involved. It's all kinds of content, and you're each doing your own thing. Grant, what's coming up on Straight SixFan in the near future?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Normally, I have some inkling of what's going to go on Sunday. That's my primary wrenching day. But with it being the Super Bowl Sunday and living in the Kansas City metro, even though I'm not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, it's really hard to ignore what's going on in your city. So my Sunday's going to look a little different than normal. I really don't know what I'm going to work on. I've got tranny fluid and a vacuum modulator for the C4 on the Fairmont, but there's some other things in the mix that I'm in the middle of. And, if you watch my Wednesday upload, there's my first vehicle I ever drove. There might be some more content with that coming up. I don't know. It's not, I'll just put it this way. It's not sitting anywhere different than the gentleman's driveway you saw the video from. So I'll leave it at that. But Jason, what's coming up on Old Car Guy?
Well, tomorrow's upload is we're going to be finalizing the taco hood issue with the old square body, and we've also got that Phytech install coming up real soon that we're going to be installing the fuel injection on Dale the truck, and that's what's coming up on Old Car Guy in the near future, so stay tuned for that. So we've got those out of the way. I think it's just about time that we're getting ready to sign off here. And Grant, you got any final remarks here?
No, I just wanted to say thanks, Mike, for spending some time with us. I know that we used almost every minute of the 15 minutes of pre-show time, but nobody has to know about that. The show goes on. Everybody, it was seamless as possible, but no, we joke about technology issues. I think one question that I regret that we haven't asked at this point, so we'll try to squeeze one in here, is I know for the longest time, like when people, this YouTube thing, it's easier to complain about not growing than growing, right? And for the longest time, you kept up consistency by going over to, correct me if I'm wrong, but a neighbor's porch to upload every video. So don't tell me that, like when you talk about hustle, sometimes side hustle, sometimes you got to do things like that. So just maybe that's not an issue anymore, but just, I don't know, reflect on that a little bit and give the peeps a little encouragement before we send you out the door.
Sure. Yeah. What is this channel? Like 2 years old, maybe even older. I don't know. We've done over 100 uploads so far, and up until now, I've never been able to do a video from home ever. I live in the sticks, our internet is terrible. I mean, we could watch movies and we could download, but you can't upload to save your life. So, it's impossible. I'd always have to drive to the city. It's like 50 miles round trip every time I want to upload a video. A lot of times it's in the middle of the night because that's the only time I have to get, to finish up my editing and get everything done, rendered, ready to upload. And it might be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm sitting on somebody's porch steps uploading a video, but everybody's cool. They're like, Mike, just come in the house. And it's like, no, it's 3 in the morning. I'm not waking you up. I'll just stay out here and I'll load this up right quick. And everybody's been really cool. I've had like a handful of people. My daughter's cool. She lets me come to her house and upload videos. I got a buddy that was letting me use his internet to upload videos. But and Randy, of course, I had to go out to his house numerous times to upload videos. And that's how we've been doing it, man. And people get on to me all the time. Why don't you upload more? You should upload them. Dude, you have no idea what it's been like.
And just imagine the story of the cops you'd have to tell.
Oh, God, I know.
Sitting on someone's porch with your laptop.
Know, right? Oh, man.
Yeah, so this has been great, Mike. I was really appreciative that you returned my message when I first reached out to you to see if you would be a part of the show. And thanks so much for making the commitment.
Hey, thank y'all for having me, man. This is awesome.
Well, and actually, to piggyback on what Jason said, I mean, the whole reason why I think this sounds bad, but we were prompted to reach out to you. I mean, you did us a huge favor back in December. Jason and I were both chasing some milestones, and you gave him the extra bump. And then, a week and a half later, same thing for me. And yeah, to steal from Luke, Coastal Auto Reaction, he talks about community, not competition. I mean, that was just the most selfless act it's possible. And Jason and I, within that week and a half or whatever, it's like, okay, I think we know who we need to have on season 5. So
I appreciate it.
No, hey, the feeling's mutual. I think I speak for Jason, and Jason, I'll put the microphone on mute over here and let you close the show out.
All right, no problem. Mike, do you have any final words for anybody who might be watching?
Well, to touch on what Jason just said, it would be really messed up for me not to try to pay it forward, at least a little bit. I mean, we all know that I got a huge head start on the game when it comes to YouTube. I had a much larger channel pushing for me and promoting me and helping me out. And I want to say thank you to him, Auto Auction Rebuilds, much appreciated. I want to thank my wife for pushing me into this deal to begin with, because it did work out. It's great. I actually learned to really like this. I enjoy editing. I enjoy the whole thing. I enjoy that I'm actually starting to come out of my shell a little bit. I'm very reclusive. I'm not a people person, and this has brought me out, and I'm glad I did it. Like I said, this will make you grow as a person. I promise you.
And with one last 5-minute super chat, or $5 super chat. See, I can't even talk tonight either. So from Novatez, thanks again. That'll go 5 more entries into the Kilmat product. Again, Mike, thanks so much.
Thank y'all for having me.
We appreciate everything you've done for us, and we hope to carry it on in the future. We will look forward to season 6. We never know what that might bring, and we never know just how far the CarrGuy and SixFan show will go, because tonight we set a record with over 80 people watching at any given time. So, guys, if you don't know what the CarrGuy and SixFan show is, well, you just experienced it tonight. If you got some friends who are into cars, they want to see what's going on. Make sure you're subscribed to Grant's channel here. Make sure you're subscribed to Mike's channel down below. We will leave those in the description. Of course, my channel, Old Car Guy. Make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure you're sharing these shows out, because this is what it's all about. Community, not competition. Sharing out, helping others, doing what we can to help support the automotive niche on YouTube. So, guys, having said all that, thank you one more time for watching the CarrGuy and SixFan show this Thursday evening. We will see you guys next week on my channel.